So let's go to some net neutrality specific news now, because we have some bad news on net neutrality, and this is part of the reason I'm working on a task with Fight for the Future. And again, I'm going to have a big announcement about that this week. Tomorrow or Thursday, I'm going to have a big announcement about what I'm working on with Fight for the Future. It's going to be a day of action for net neutrality, and I'm really excited about it. That's why the show is late today. I've been meeting with them. Today was our first day getting the ball rolling on this. This was the first day of the action. So, stuff kind of took a while, and yeah, that's why Get Your News On with Ron is late today. I will do my best to maintain the 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time start time, and I will inform you guys to the best of my ability. But today was a little crazy. It was the start of something new. It's also the day after the holiday on Monday, so it's a Tuesday that is a Monday, so things got a little crazy, and I appreciate everyone's understanding and patience. But here's what's going on with net neutrality, and this is not good news. 47 Democrats cave on net neutrality after GOP calls bill dead on arrival. GOP blocking of net neutrality vote rewarded as 47 Democrats ask for a compromise. So, quick refresher on what's going on here. The Save the Internet bill, which is a good bill, it just reinstates net neutrality. What is net neutrality? Net neutrality is that thing that keeps the internet free and open. It doesn't allow fast lanes and slow lanes. It doesn't allow paid prioritization. It basically keeps the internet great as we know it today. Without net neutrality, you could be price gouged by your internet service provider. They could charge you more to access certain websites. They could slow down your speeds depending on how much you pay into different lanes. They could price out content creators. Shows like this wouldn't be able to exist anymore because only corporate media and stuff that could pay the fees could load faster. So we could pretty much gut the free and open internet as we know it. It could turn the internet into cable television 2.0. We've had net neutrality since the advent of the internet. It was just assumed and it wasn't written in stone. The cable companies eventually decided they didn't want to follow net neutrality anymore, so they sued the FCC. They won that lawsuit, but the courts told the FCC, hey, if you designate the internet a Title II designation, which means it's a common carrier, then net neutrality is required. The FCC didn't want to do that because Tom Wheeler was a cable lobbyist himself, but the people screamed, and they screamed loud, and they crashed the FCC's website with their comments, so we got net neutrality officially on the books in 2015. Then Trump's FCC came in. Ajit Pai, who was introduced into the fold by Barack Obama in the first place, repealed those FCC rules. Now we're fighting to get it back. You have not seen the effects of a post-net neutrality world yet because we're fighting it out in the courts. And different states are proposing net neutrality bills, including my home state of California. So, what did they do? Congress got the Save the Internet Act. All the Save the Internet Act did was it just says, hey, we're putting net neutrality back. We repealed it. That was the wrong choice. That was bad. We're putting it back. It was 3 pages long. Very simple. It passed the House. But Mitch McConnell in the Senate said, hey, it's dead on arrival here. Even though over 83% of citizens favor net neutrality, and they want net neutrality, and the people have screamed very, very unapologetically and thorough that, yes, we want net neutrality. Well, the Senate said it's dead on arrival, so what do the Democrats do? Instead of standing with the people, well, now they're caving on this. And this ain't good. 47 Democratic members of Congress are calling for a net neutrality compromise with Republicans who have refused to support a full restoration of the net neutrality rules repealed by the Ajit Pai-led Federal Communications Commission. The Democratic majority U.S. House of Representatives voted in April to pass the Save the Internet Act, which would restore the Obama-era FCC's net neutrality rules. Keep in mind, we did have net neutrality long before Obama was in office. It just got solidified on the books during his administration, which was a good thing. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell declared the bill dead on arrival in the Republican majority Senate. So here's the letter that they drafted to Nancy Pelosi. They want to compromise with the GOP now. We, the undersigned, voted for the Save the Internet Act because it represented an opportunity to resolve questions that courts have struggled with for decades, the Democrats wrote in a letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. At the same time, we recognize that this legislation is unlikely to become law or pass through the Senate in its current form. If that proves true, consumers will be left without enforceable net neutrality protections while partisan conflict continues. We believe this result is unacceptable and unnecessary. The letter to Pelosi was led by Representatives Josh Guttheimer and Scott Peters and signed by another 45 Democratic members of the House. It goes on to suggest that the House create a bipartisan working group. The Democrats' letter to Pelosi said the proposed bipartisan working group should be modeled on the Wicker-Sinema effort in the Senate. By the way, Kristen Sinema opposed to net neutrality. She's the only Senate Democrat who didn't co-sponsor the Save the Internet Act. So let's see. During House negotiations on the Save the Internet Act, Republicans proposed numerous amendments to weaken the net neutrality rules. Among other things, these amendments would have exempted all 5G wireless services and all multi-gigabit broadband services from net neutrality rules, prevented the FCC from limiting the types of zero rating that ISPs can deploy, and classified broadband as an information service. Right there is the nail in the coffin. So the Republicans also put forward a couple of net neutrality bills that were bullshit bills, that were fake bills. If they classified it as an information service, if the FCC designates the internet as an information service, which is a Title I, instead of a Title II, which is a common carrier, net neutrality can't be enforced. So this, quote, compromise is really just killing off net neutrality. That's what this compromise is. Republicans tried it. They put forth a couple fake net neutrality bills. Those amendments and those fake bills were all shot down, which was a good thing, but now the Democrats are caving on it. Now the Democrats are caving on net neutrality. Because this bipartisan committee will not give us net neutrality protection at all. Let's see what they're giving us lip service that they're actually do. So they're saying that Republican lawmakers often, not always, but often, support bans on blocking and throttling. They've also proposed laws that would allow paid prioritization, letting internet service providers charge online services for faster access to internet users. That means shows like this and pretty much all the other content creators you love on YouTube and other similar platforms, we're done. That's what that means. And that's no embellishment. The podcast that you like, your podcast if you have one, unless you got the big bucks to pay for paid prioritization, which I do not. Most independent media does not. Pretty much all independent media does not. Then you're done. And if they designated an information service, we won't have net neutrality. And what do they want to do in this, quote, compromise? They want to designate an information service. So this compromise is not bipartisanship. It is not meeting in the middle. It is killing net neutrality. And this is bipartisanship in our current environment, where Republicans have a horrible idea and Democrats will help them sell it. Because that's what bipartisanship means in our current society. So this is terrible that the Democrats are caving on this. And this is not a net neutrality solution. Nowhere close. It's actually quite the opposite. This compromise, quote unquote, is not a compromise at all. Because there is no compromise on net neutrality. We either have it or we don't. And with this proposal, this bipartisan proposed idea, we don't have it.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your